Hello, I'm Angela.
And I'm Marie, the second half of this mother and daughter team.
Welcome to Chakra Checkups.
We're here to guide you on your quest for spiritual knowledge and enlightenment.
Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back.
Happy New Year 2024. Who'da thunk?
Who'd thunk? Yeah, we made it through an entire year and a couple months of podcasting, and we haven't forgot about you, and we're still doing it, and we love you all, and thank you for listening.
Wow, that's a lot. Yes, we're back. And
I like to start the year with positivity and, positive reinforcement.
that sounds great.
Yeah. So
Positively wonderful.
Positively wonderful. Great. So is there any resolutions you would like for this new year?
New Year's resolutions. Well, I mean, it's such a cliche, but actually on my weight issue, I want to lose more weight. Well, actually, I don't need to lose it. It can go wherever it wants. It doesn't have to be lost. But I on that front, I
So
think
you would like to find new weight?
I find a new weight that's lower than the
There
one
you
I have now. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't involve losing anything. I had this experience in a ceremony recently, not one that I was taking anything, just like a meditation of meeting this elemental in a giant granite boulder. And I saw a window, went into this boulder, and he said, "You have been on this planet for 1,000 years. I have been in this rock for more than 1,000 years. Why don't you come in and talk to me?"
Come hang out and have a cup of tea.
Or whatever.
Cool.
And it just looked like this rocky, like an older man, old fat man that was made up of a bunch of crumbles of rock.
Uh-huh.
So
Kind of like what they portray trolls to look like a little bit, like
yeah,
elemental trolls.
yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of crunched down so you all fit in the rock.
Okay.
So I said, "Well, okay, so what are you going to teach me?" I don't know why I asked that, and he said about the orientation of the earth in the universe and how the universe functions. And I'm like,
Sounds
okay.
cool.
Well, that's small.
You're like, yeah, let me open the door right now.
And I said, "Well, what will that do for me?" And he said, "You will become lighter."
Yeah.
And then I've told a few people, and they said that means more light. And I'm thinking, no, I'm going with I'm going to lose weight.
See, I definitely think it means like you're gonna have more brightness of light within you, more healing
You could
ability,
be
more
wrong.
light.
It could mean
I could be wrong. Okay, we'll come back to this when you go. You remember that day. You were right. Just remember those words for the future.
Anyway. So my other goal for this year would be to see a lot more whales. I'm loving seeing all the whales, and it's just fabulous. On Christmas Day, you took your drone out. We saw these whales. Literally got drone footage of a whale rolling onto its back, flipping its flippers, rolling to one side, rolling another side, and it's just so amazing. I didn't even know they did this, and I just love everything about whales. So that's my
We're in a great place to see more whales, so I will take you on all of the ocean whale tours.
I don't know about that, but
All of the
I
ones
didn't.
that are possible to take down here, we will do.
Well,
Over
that was
over
not
the course
necessarily
of
my goal. That's an interpretation, but seeing them is good.
Well, we will see whales on all of these different tours.
Okay, well, let's put the flip flop on the other foot.
What are my goals for the new year? I like to try to read a book a month, which I completed just barely this last year. And kind of use that as a way of getting off my phone more. I am going after my scuba dive master so that I could start guiding tours for scuba, which I think will be really great. And we'll see. I'll I want to work out more. And lose weight, or gain a new weight. However you phrased it. So, but we'll see how many days that can uh continue. I'm also trying to continue my Duolingo streak, so I'm up to like 240 days so far. So we'll see if I can complete one whole year of learning Spanish and being better at that.
I had this dream that I woke up and I could speak Spanish, but it was like from being a man in Spain, and I
Uh-huh.
had a very aristocratic Spain Spanish type of accent. But that would be okay with me because
It would
I
still
don't
be
know
more
any.
than what you know now.
My accent's so bad now. Every time I say something, the the locals here just shake their head and roll their eyes. So
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, even teaching you the basic things. Buen provecho, which is what they say for basically bon appetit here. Let's hear you say it now.
nope,
It's one
nope. I'm not putting that on a podcast.
it's one that I work on with you every time.
Well, and my ongoing goals, my 4 simple goals, which I will always adhere to: create more light, help alleviate suffering, do random acts of kindness as often as I can, and to change consciousness in the world.
Mm-hmm.
4 small things.
4 small things, but good things.
And we can change consciousness in the world. People like yourself with marvelous chakras and compassion and love, you are like 100,000 watt candle. Someone that would want to hurt people, exploit them, or something of that nature. They're like a little paper match going out. So we don't have to change consciousness for everybody, just about 10% of the population.
And I do think that this generation or this time period, people are starting to wake up and be more in tune with their own bodies and enlightenment, or it's just more open to talk about a lot of these spiritual things than it has been in the past.
I think so too, and I think that's great. And I think part of that is doing that, just accepting who you are, being who you are. The other part of it is actually stepping into and being responsible for your spiritual authority.
Mm-hmm.
People that have power objects or have great spiritual power, have gold in many chakras. These are things that they earned over hundreds of years, and they have natural authority. And I think I'll say to a lot of the people that have that, do you feel like you're the only adult in the room? And they say always. But
Yeah, you always call me the cynical psychic.
but they don't actually step into that and say, okay, I am going to be this authority.
Yeah.
I do have knowing, I do have all this, and it makes a difference if we do that. It makes a huge difference, both in the way you feel physically and everything else. It's going to make a difference in every aspect of your life and in the lives of everybody else.
Well, if I've learned anything this year, it's that healing is a choice. You have to want to be better. You have to want to feel better. You have to be able to look at some of the parts that you don't want to look at to heal them.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean, you don't have to like examine them, but you have to
you
be able to face them for a moment.
you don't have to be anything, but if you choose to do some of those things, if you choose to heal, if you choose to look at them, you choose to want to change them, then you're going to heal.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just saying I know a lot of people that might know the right steps for their healing or enlightenment and do not want to do it yet or not ready.
Yes, I'd say of the people that I have talked to, and when it comes down to serious illnesses and serious choices, about maybe 40 or 50% will admit that they do not choose to heal.
Yeah.
They don't want to suffer, and a lot of times they'd like to be maybe happier or richer or have a better partner, but they don't want to do what they know they should do
Yeah.
in order to heal. They want to perpetuate what's going on. The devil, it's more comfortable. The people that do make a choice to, step out of where they're stuck and see it from a different angle, they do get healed. They have miraculous healings.
I mean, I was not so long ago one of those people that my friends were saying like you would benefit from talk therapy. And I was going like, no, I don't really need that. There's other people that, are more sick than me or, mentally ill that like actually have something going on and I'm fine. And since a few people that I really respected had told me, and they're like, well, like everyone could benefit from it. And this was one of the best decisions in my life. And if you have an opportunity to try it, you should try it. Like got in my head enough for me to be like, okay, like maybe there is something to this. And I think it's once you start opening that door to other, just even other patterns of thinking and stuff of healing is something that can be greatly beneficial to a happier, healthier lifestyle.
Definitely. I have seen people heal from every single modality that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And when many people like to go to healers over and over and over again, which I am really kind of against that on principle, because you don't need to just find another pattern of saying, I'm not in charge here and I need someone else to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But what healing can do for you, going to a healer, is oftentimes it just gives the person an opportunity to have a look, like looking through a window and say, yes, I could be different. I could experience the world different. I could have less pain. I could feel better. And sometimes if you go to massage, that's you wake up and out of your massage and like, wow, I do need to exercise. I can feel better. My pain can go away.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with hands-on healing, sometimes with a good psychologist. Definitely when you do a soul retrieval, you actually get better, but you also same thing, have that window. Um, all of these things, that's the main thing about all healing is that it pulls you out of your stuck space for a long enough time to provide you with the view and the idea that you can make that choice. And when you make that choice, you're going to be well.
Mm-hmm.
Your life's going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be happier. You're
Yeah.
going to see more whales.
You're gonna see. Well, I think like as the new year, we all are trying to better ourselves in some way. I think that's an interesting thing to put in your brain and think about of like what choice am I going to make to be happier this year? What choice am I going to make to be healthier this year? I think if you're not always reflecting and looking of being better, you kind of get stuck in these like stagnant and depressed energies of it's too hard to change. And I just don't think that that's the case for anyone.
No, it can be tremendously better. And I'll tell people, I said, look at it, let's look at this like a 1 month or a 2 month project, and you're going to look back, and in 2 months you're going to say, wow. And people do. They sent me text. One man sent me a text that said, my life is 1,000 times better. So it can be when you make that choice. One of the worst things that make us unhappy in our life and make us ill and keep us from sleeping is that we spend so much mental time going back over things that didn't work out for us. We spend so much time reiterating our losses, telling ourselves, I'm an idiot, telling ourselves, I can never recover. Now I'll never be back to where I was. Uh, Telling yourself, I have so much pain. I'm never going to get better enough to exercise. All of these statements, all of this kind of thing is in the past, or it's a projected guaranteed negativity in the future. What it isn't is in the present. When you make a powerful choice to heal, at that moment you are in the present. And then anything that you do that brings you more to the present moment is going to empower that healing, empower your joy, your laughter, your creativity, your love. All love is in the present moment. All creativity is in the present moment. It's all really about being here and making the choice. And people say, well, I try to do that, but I am so mad at my ex, or I am so mad about the losses I had.
I mean, are people even that conscious of the fact that they're so mad about X, Y, Z that had happened in the past when they're telling you these things? Like,
Oftentimes, no. I actually was on a phone call and this person started talking about all of their problems, and it went on for about 4 minutes. I couldn't even get a word in edgewise. And then a very weird thing happened. The person then started the same conversation, the same monologue, word for word, and said it again. And I was looking at the phone going, oh, this is a new one. And then they did it again a third time. And we're starting on the fourth time when I just disconnected the call and then said, the call dropped because I dropped it. And, let's start from right now. This person was so involved in their tragic story and how to deal with it that they weren't even aware that they just repeated themselves for 15 minutes like in a loop.
they're so stuck in the past that that's the only thing that they see is that very narrow vision of
How screwed up
how,
everything
yeah.
is. I don't know how awful it is, how painful it is, how hopeless it is, how someday they're hoping something might change. What you can change is right now. You can change right now. I mean,
And changing your way of thinking.
yes. Bring yourself to the present moment. I've had so many calls over Christmas time, people just calling all distraught. And I'm not meaning to be sarcastic, but I said, I've got a really good mantra for you. Try this mantra. Hee hee, ha ha, ho ho.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is
It's so ridiculous. It makes you laugh.
but you laugh, but you're in the present. It brings you to the present. When you choose to start to laugh, it creates more laughter. It's spontaneous. It brings you back to the present moment. And even though people think that is completely ridiculous,
Say it out loud and see if it works.
right? But it's just one of many ways to say, wait a minute, I'm not fighting with my ex right now. I'm not in a car wreck right now. I'm not in the hospital where I'm afraid I might wind up. I'm just sitting here and none of that stuff's happening.
Yeah.
So what if I just came to this moment and chose to heal? What would happen then?
What if? What would happen?
You would probably heal. You would heal. You would be better
Just by being more in the present.
just by being more in the present. The only place healing can ever happen is in the present.
Uh-huh.
It cannot happen in the past. You cannot.
Can it happen in the future?
It cannot happen in the future. It can only happen in the present.
Okay.
You can't say, okay, I need my gallbladder taken out, so I'm going to have it happen right before I divorce my first husband.
Okay.
You can't do that. It can't happen in the past.
Okay.
And if all of your energy is being pulled into the past, then there's no one really paying much attention to what is going on with you in the moment.
So what does that look like when your energy is being pulled to the past? What does that do to somebody's chakra system?
It derails things. It's like if you had a car, brand new car, you want to take it for a drive, and then you just start taking off wheels and see how far you can drive. You need to have your soul in your body. You need to be in the present moment. And every time you have some gnawing, ongoing worry or anxiety or past memory or hatred, all of those things suck energy right out of your chakra. So, what's going on there? So, you suck it out of your crown chakra, you can't focus, you're going to get headaches. You suck it out of your third eye, and your intuition becomes weak. Your inspiration becomes weak. You can't see a better solution.
Mm-hmm.
You suck it out of your throat chakra, and you can't communicate, and your thyroid's going to be low.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be sarcastic and angry. You suck it out of your heart chakra, and you don't feel love, and you don't feel lovable. You suck it out of your solar plexus chakra, and your material world will not work.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many people that want to have their material world work, and it doesn't, because they have so much anger and upset and regret and remorse about the material things that didn't go well.
And they're projecting that into now.
They're projecting that into now, where they're spending every time they think of doing something new, they go, well, that's not going to work. It'll be just like what happened before.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going back to the past. It's a matter of,
What if you're in the past for your second chakra?
your relationships don't work. You're going to meet the same bad news partner
That you have before.
that you had before. And then you'll be saying, I knew this wasn't going to work. You'll be sitting having an argument, and you're going, I knew this wouldn't work, because this person is just like that other person. They're saying the same thing. They're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So how do we catch ourselves in those moments when we say, I knew it was going to happen like this?
Look at where you are, whatever you're doing, and take a minute to actually realize nothing that you've been thinking about, talking about in your brain, is happening right now. No. You may have a dream you're going to have a car crash, but right now the car is not crashing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what's happening is you're breathing in and out, and your heart is beating, and you're focused on that. That alone is a very powerful moment for you. This is the basic tenet of meditation, is to just stop the chaos and sit and be in the present. But even if you don't want to meditate, just stopping and saying, of all the things that are going around in my mind, what is happening right now?
Even if your current moment is in conflict with someone?
Especially if your current moment is in conflict with somebody. When two people start having conflict and start raising their voices or screaming or saying, there you go again, doing, so you always do this. You never listen. You don't want to try. You're stuck, and you're actually starting to accurately describe where each other is, which is any place but where you are. So there's no point in carrying on a conflict because neither of you are present. It's not about the other person. It's not even about you. It's about what happened in 1974 or so, why are you arguing with your supposed love of your life and screaming at each other? And then later you don't even know what happened because you weren't present.
Yeah, I mean, I think conflict resolution could be really hard thing for most people to communicate around. You have a big blowout with someone. How do you move past those moments and not hold on to what happened?
Well, and that's a sad thing when you don't realize you're being pulled in the past and you don't seem to realize that a lot of the issues you think you have don't really have anything to do with your present partner. Then you start going off on each other and then you're hurt. You feel hurt. So now you have a new issue. And the new issue is that you're hurting each other. And then somebody's got to be big enough to get over that. And sometimes you can't recover. I mean, you could if you're both willing to, but oftentimes couples, then they start to get to the point it's very difficult to recover because we'll notice that if someone's falsely accused, they get irate and very, very angry. But if they're guilty, they stay calm. So you start screaming at each other because you're not in the present and you're falsely accusing each other of stuff, but that isn't really the root of the problem. Yes, someone got triggered, but it's not really the root of the problem. Ultimately, in the most simplistic way possible, if you come to the present, your body's going to align, you're going to heal. How do you stay there?
I may be hurting and what they say might be hurtful, but I will never give them the pleasure of seeing my pain.
You don't need to go back and go over it.
So tell us how it really is.
Well, so you can have what you want, or you can have your angry past, but you can't have both because they don't exist in the same place. And where do you want to live? Well, where do you want to live in 1974 screaming at the person who took the Mercedes-Benz in the divorce?
Yeah. Or whatever it might
or
be.
whatever it was, or in my view, the wiser choice, like let's choose where I am, where I physically am.
And what if that physical place where you are, like I know a lot of us that live in cities don't always have the nicest apartment or the best living conditions or something in their physical environment they don't like very much.
Well, here's the interesting thing. When you really spend a lot of time in the past, you're not very conscious of what's going on. But when you pull yourself to the moment, then you're like, and you spend enough time, a few minutes breathing and really being in the moment, then look around and you're going to go, whoa, how long have those old potato chips been sitting on the sofa? How did this place get this dirty? Why are there so many dishes in the sink? How come my clothes are all messed up? If you look around and while being present at what your physical situation is, it's going to tell you a lot about the level of your own dysfunction. And people that are centered, they are clean. They're clean, their clothes are clean, they're neat. Because they aren't spending...
Are more aware of their surroundings.
They're aware and they have the time to like do the dishes because they're not just like gone somewhere, going round and round and exhausting themselves. Pulling all your energy the past is so exhausting, then you don't want to do what it takes to just live in the world in a in a clean and appropriate way. So even if you had the tiniest hovel, even if you were unfortunate enough to be living the way you look, the way you smell, how clean your clothes are, and all of that is going to improve everything. When I owned the herb shop and I put out a sign for people to come in for a job interview, I was shocked at the level at which some people would come to an interview. I mean, dirty and their hair uncombed, and they looked like they might have been drinking, and you know, and they seemed to think that they were good to go.
Yeah.
And I think this is because they have no idea.
I think that's one thing that I don't like about the area that I grew up, is that it's almost like nobody is working towards anything in their life. Everyone's just getting by. I remember I was in the supermarket and it was summertime. I wore a summer dress and I might have put my hair in a ponytail. Nothing fancy. Like, I don't really do makeup. And the woman at the cashier goes, "Wow, you look so nice. Like, what's the occasion?" And I'm like, "No, there's no occasion. I'm not wearing leggings like the rest of the people in sweatpants and uncombed hair in the area." And I think that's something really apparent of why I wanted to leave that area, is because so many people are stuck in a society of non-effort.
Well, they're making a huge effort just be stuck.
Yeah.
But they don't realize it, and the answer to the lady's question, you look at your watch and you go, the occasion is Thursday, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And I showed up.
Yeah, I just showed up today. Yeah.
I decided to be here. And because I love myself and I'm not spending my time hating myself, why not dress it up a bit?
Yeah.
And enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely one of the things I like people to say in some of the memes that come out that are quite funny is like, dress for the job you want, not for the one you have. And the joke on that phrase is some people wearing princess gowns in ridiculous places and things like that. But at the same time, wear what you want and don't let anything get in the way.
Well, be true to yourself. And then if you're being true to yourself and you are in the present moment, you're going to have more opportunity.
Yeah.
Where we lived, in Grants Pass, there was this guy that had been in the war and seemed pretty likely that in the Vietnam War, that he had some issues with being inside of buildings or working or various different things. But he did decide he wanted to change his life. So he just started going from house to house, uh, raking people's leaves, and then I noticed he started to be a little more cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed after a while he had his own truck, a little beat up truck, but then he had a truck. Pretty soon he had a nicer truck, and someone said he actually bought a house.
Yeah.
He just made this choice and just started to get up and be in the moment and look around and start from where you are. A little bit like the Alcoholic Anonymous, day one.
Yeah.
Day one, I'm here and I'm going to do everything I can to stay here. And when you have a dark thought or you start to find yourself saying, I know why I have headaches, it's because of blah, 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 you go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me being present. So let's try, I'm going to breathe that thought away, which people have heard me say so many times, and breathe in the light.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put my hand on my heart feel my heartbeat, and I'm just going to be right here. And then you will have realizations about your behavior, and you'll know what will heal you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because I've eaten pizza every day for a month. They're going to help you to feel better. The interesting thing is, things can turn around so quick that it feels like a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen it happen with many people. I had this one woman, it was one of the first soul retrievals I had ever done. And this woman came in crying to me. This was an appointment I had with her physically. And she was crying. And she said, my life's a mess. And now I'm losing my apartment. And I just lost my job. I was going to write a book and I can't find any inspiration. Oh, my lover has left me. All of this stuff. It just went on and on. And I just said to her, okay, let's breathe and let's find out where this all started. We will do a soul retrieval and bring back that part of you that feels hopeless and disenfranchised and like life is impossible. We're going to bring that part of your soul back to this present moment, and you're going to heal. So we did that. We did a soul retrieval. And I saw her a month later and she's like, I have a new boyfriend. I'm writing my book. I found a job. My back doesn't hurt anymore. It's just like everything. And I went, wow, that really worked. I mean, it was great. But she shifted. She shifted. And in that moment when she shifted, all these doors open, all this opportunity opens. A lot of times the problem is that somebody shifts and then they go, well, it's been 20 minutes and I'm still broke. So what the hell? I knew my life was screwed up.
I mean, isn't that just going back to the same negative thought pattern that
Yes, it
you were
is.
before?
Yes, it is. So it takes some discipline, a little discipline, and it takes the choosing. Keep choosing the present moment. Keep choosing wellness. Keep choosing happiness. Keep choosing love. It is all comes down to a choice.
Mm-hmm. And then just believing in yourself and don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. I think so often of this woman that came to my farm for vegetables, that she was a feisty and cranky person, but she had stage 5 pancreatic cancer, and she just suddenly chose, I am not going to die, I'm going to live. And part of course her living was to buy organic vegetables from me, which worked out for me too. But but she got better. She recovered. And I don't think I'd ever heard of anybody recovering from severe pancreatic cancer. And she said, don't you listen to what anybody says. You listen to what you believe,
Mm-hmm.
And she was adamant about it.
Well, I think you hear about those stories of like the incredible recoveries where someone breaks their back in a way that the doctors go, you will never walk again. And, especially I think some of these like brilliantly focused athletes are like, that's not an option for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I have to do to walk? Let's do that.
My crazy French yoga teacher.
Yeah.
This guy, he admitted he was a little bit on the crazy side. He just had a very weird sense of humor, and he was really unusual. But at any rate, he was going down in the Sierra Nevada mountains, this road coming down from Tahoe on a bike going 70 miles an hour, and he flipped and crashed and broke almost every bone in his body.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the hospital in serious situation for more than 6 months. And he said once he got conscious, which actually took him about a month before he was really conscious, he said, and they said, you're not going to walk and you're not going to be able to do these things. And and it's going to take, and he said, oh, no, I'm going to choose something else.
Yeah.
And he remember he told me, I got on the phone with my friend and I said, I'm going to need a lot of green food.
Yeah.
I need a blender. I'm going to need some things because I am not going to have this happen. And the phenomenal thing about this guy is when I met him, this was several years later, but he did this funny thing where he would jump into the air and then he'd say, shout out a yoga position, and he'd land in that position. Whatever it was. I watched him do this. It was really amazing. I mean, he was very strong. He was very agile. He was
not like, okay, jump, downward dog.
Yes, exactly. and we love doing that. This one can't be done, but it was really, really incredible. He had come back from such a bad situation, and he was not in pain. He was laughing. He was happy. He was doing his yoga. It was just quite amazing.
Nothing a little bit of green vegetables can't fix, huh?
Well, you choose, and when you start to choose, you begin to see or know what your best options are.
Right.
And you begin to understand that.
Healing is a choice.
Healing is a choice. And it's a choice that you need to make in the now over and over again. If you're slipping, some people are very, very present. People that are really successful oftentimes are very focused. I was a diamond setter for 27 years, and I was really good at it. And I was very, very focused. It was right there. When you're diamond setting and you're putting prongs down on a diamond, you literally have to do it until the diamond squeaks. There's this little and you need to stop right then. So you need to be very, very focused. You can't be thinking about what am I going to make for dinner while you've got a flyer on these diamonds. I'll admit a few times when
a diamond ended up in crumbly bits.
Yes. Yes. I remember I went into my boss and I said, hold out your hand. And I put this dust in his hand and he says, what is that? I said, that's a 1/4 carat diamond. He said,
that's an expensive mistake.
And he said, you know what? Take the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
So if you want to maintain a job like that, which I did, focus, be in the present moment. And then you'll do the best job you can do. You'll cook the best food.
You'll have the most joy.
You'll have the most joy. Other people will notice that, and you'll attract somebody else that's also into joy. Things will get better because you have chosen to be present. Ronald Reagan, actually, they asked him one time why he was so successful. And he said, I just show up.
I just show up to the job every day.
He said, I just show up. He said, I found out that showing up is important.
Yeah.
Nobody else comes and he's always there. People notice.
Yeah.
He wound up being president. He showed up.
It's a good start.
It's also partly what he attributed his acting career. Just he's the one that show up. If they need someone for the part, and he's the only one there.
I think that's a good tip for writer's block or, lack of artistic inspiration or things like that. Like what I say is like, just start. Doesn't matter what you do. Just start on something. Just put down the pen, pick up the paintbrush, pick up the jeweler saw and just start on something.
Yeah, just show up and be here and follow your heart. If you're in the now and you look around and you say, what in this dwelling makes my heart sing? And if there's nothing, then
change the dwelling.
Change or throw it all out and start again and go by what?
Buy a new bucket of paint for the walls or something.
Whatever. Do what makes your heart sing in the present moment. Your grandfather quit his job during the Depression 3 different times because he looked around and he said, I can get a better job. And people were saying, wow, how can you leave a job when there's so many people looking for a job? And he just knew that he could get a better job.
Yeah.
He looked around and he said, I can choose to have what I want, and it's there for me, and I'm going to go get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the jobs that we hold, some people get stuck in a role or a job and they are afraid that they can't ever change it because they've worked towards this and they feel like they can't have it if they leave and they
Mhm.
can't get something new. But I always felt like if you got it the first time, you could get the job back a second time.
Yeah, you can. And if you want a different job, then make it happen.
Yeah. Take the leap.
Show up. When I wanted that jewelry job with a person I worked for many, many years, I got it by calling him and saying, Charles, I've got a great idea. Why don't you take me to lunch and I'll discuss with you why I'm going to be your next jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
And later he said, he only hired me because he said, how can you not hire someone that makes you buy them lunch to interview them?
The level of confidence you have to call someone up to be like, take me to lunch.
I know. I don't
is
know
enough,
why
I think,
did
for
that,
most
but-
people to be like, okay. They'll either take you to lunch or they'll never talk to you again.
I think that a lot of times people do not treat their employers like someone that they are on a level with, but rather like this sort of evil dictator that is not human. And the truth is, again, in the now, you're just the same. You're just two people, and when you're present, you feel more bold, and you rise up into your authority, who you really are, and they like that.
Mm-hmm.
They like that. Every time I've ever gone on an interview, I focus on the person in the present and say, hey, I want to make you a big success because that'll be successful for me too. They usually say, you're hired. They love to hear that.
Yeah.
Not like I hope I earn enough money so I can leave here and go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that kind of thing. Give it a try. 2024.
Make some money and go to Hawaii. Is that
And do diving.
and do some diving. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 experience.
Be in the present and find out what makes your heart sing. Because you will be able to hear your heart sing.
Choose healing by being in the present.
Be in the present.
Be in the now.
Be in the now. Because that's the only place that's real.
Is the now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about the astral?
You can be in the now in the astral if you want. That's not impossible.
Yeah.
You can be in the now on a bus in the astral.
Why is the past not real? You're just bringing up all these philosophical questions.
Well, you know what? They found out that people don't even really remember the past accurately. And you take 5 people that are in the room and ask them a year later what happened, and every story is going to be different.
Yeah.
It's not only not real, it's distorted.
Yeah.
But if your hands on your heart and your belly's going up and down and you're breathing, that's real. And that is the perfect spot to be in for magic, for love, for money, for joy, for entertainment, creation, inspiration, and bake a cake. Anything you want to do.
Okay. What kind of cake are you making?
I always like German chocolate cake. I like all that coconut and nuts and everything.
Well, on that note, let's go bake a cake. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Let's go bake a German chocolate cake from scratch.
Okay.